You need to get your person and get this and bring over there. That's how place. That's how please is more golfers, please.
In My Little Scythe, players each control 2 adventurous little seekers, attempting to score 4 trophies by reaching certain milestones throughout the game. You get trophies for having 8 pies, 8 friendship, 3 magic spells, completing 2 quests, winning a pie fight, delivering 4 gems, delivering 4 apples, and making 2 upgrades. You can only score 1 of these per turn, and once someone scores 4 trophies, you finish out the remaining player turns and the player with the most trophies wins, or in the event of a tie, the player with the most friendship wins. Each turn, a player will select 1 action space on their board, which in true Scythian fashion cannot be the action that your pawn was resting on at the start of the turn. Actions fall into categories of movement, seeking, and crafting. Moving activates both your seekers, who can move 2 spaces unencumbered, or 1 space if they're carrying any sweet goods. Crafting lets you make pies, magic spells that augment your pies, and upgrades for your action board. And then there's the seek action, which is a really cool system that uses these dice here. What you do is you pick one of the seek actions, which dictates which dice you're going to end up using. Then you just roll those dice, and based off of the colors, you have to choose where you're going to put your gems, your apples, and your quest tokens on the board. The only restriction here are quests can't be placed where players or other quests are, but apples and gems can be placed at your heart's discretion, and if you put them on any opponent's pieces, you gain friendship. And speaking of friendship, if you ever march yourself into another player's land, then a pie fight breaks out, and you're going to have to spend yourself some pies and maybe some magic cards and hope to win that combat. But as soon as you enter into their territory, you lose a friendship, which is really important to know, because if you ever go down below 3 friendship, then you can't actually put out any trophies during your turn. You have to get yourself back up to at least 3, and any trophies that you are currently qualifying for, then you can put out 1 per turn. I think that's actually a really cool addition. Not only does it give you a system that you have to pay attention to, but it makes sure that everyone is playing relatively friendly within the sandbox and not just beating each other upon the heads with pies, because after all, to get them trophies, you need to be friendly. Overall, My Little Scythe is a fantastic simplification of Scythe's core elements. In many ways, these conveniences are so impressive that I see them as innovations welcome in a simpler but still adult-themed game. Not necessarily improvements, mind you, because I like meaty stuff, but definitely quality of life stuff that makes the experience more manageable. From upgrading your actions by selecting from new tiles, to requiring a minimum amount of friendship to place trophies, to the quests which reward you for simple choices. There are lots of slick, surprising, and totally engaging elements to the game, but then there's combat. Now, combat is the area of the game that's ripped almost entirely straight out of Scythe, and it is by far the most complicated and brutal aspect of the game. So first off, there's already the 1 friendship that you're going to lose by marching into someone else's territory, so you're already losing something. But then you're going to have to secretly commit a number of pies based off of how much pie you think that your opponent is going to be able to contribute, and then you might be using some of your cards that you want to add in there, but those cards also add to trophies, and you're getting into all sorts of risk analytics and what people are going to send back at you. And this is the part where you, as a friend, a parent, a teacher, a caregiver, whatever your role is, are going to be doing the most hand-holding for your young friends who are playing this game. And yeah, I like this system. It's one of my favorite aspects of the original Scythe, but it's still just a little too complicated for kids to get the nuance of, and in a game that otherwise has so many cool and interesting ways that has distilled the core concepts of Scythe into a child-friendly, easily understandable manner, I'm not sure why we didn't get that with combat. I mean, it's serviceable, kids can still do it, they just won't do it particularly well. Now, while combat may be exactly the same as in Scythe, By far the biggest and most obvious change is the visual presentation in My Little Scythe. And it still has the fit and finish of a Stonemaier game. It has these wonderful deluxe components. It's got awesome character designs. I mean, these minis are freaking awesome. It's got a level of sophistication to it that I really dig. I mean, even the insert that's in this box here, when you're not just shaking everything around for a review, is kind of stunning. I love everything in there, but the land itself, the world that you're occupying, Palm here, where everything is sunshine and lollipops and rainbows, and you're delivering these gems and apples to the kingdom, and everyone's friendly and smiley and just having wonderful giggly pie fights, and the adventures that you're going on are super adorable. It's sweet, bordering on saccharine, and you are going to have to be the judge if that's going to be a good fit for your family. That said, it's a feast on the table. You just want to dive in like it's candy. It's something that really catches the eye, and I love that. I mean, these character designs, too, are among some of the best that I've ever seen made into miniature form. Not only is it really high quality, but I love how it evokes the characters and their pets in the original Scythe itself. I mean, do yourself a favor and get a couple of these bad boys and play with them the next time that you are banging out a game of Scythe proper. They are that freaking awesome. As a family experience, this is a fun time. It is a delightful reduction of Scythe, and as I said earlier, there are some really clever game mechanics that I'd like to see in an adult game. But I need to stress, this is not an adult's game. It can be enjoyed by adults, sure, but luck plays a huge factor. There's very little tension, and the theme is cute, bordering on too safe. That said, this lays the path for teaching critical thinking, chaining turns together, cost and benefit, and does it with much more substance than many other games accessible to kids on the market. My favorite thing about this game, aside from the freaking adorable miniatures, are the clever ways that the complicated concepts of Scythe are adapted into this family-friendly format. I mean, from the upgrades to the way that your trophies go out on the board, you feel the essence of Scythe throughout the entire thing. As far as new mechanics, I really love the dice system for populating the board, making choices about where in each region your stuff is going to go, and then hunting them down. It's fast, fun, silly, friendly goodness. And even with the pie fights included, it never seems like anyone's really having a bad time. That said, if you're playing with the younger side of the age spectrum here, 8 and up, then I think 8, 9, and 10 years old, you're going to be doing a lot of hand-holding with your kids, especially the first several games. Not just in the strategy of the game, but also the basic concepts on how to execute turns and how to handle things in sequence. But once you start getting to the older end of the age spectrum, you may get the flip side of that, which is kids who fully grasp the concepts of the game, but they may be aging out of the thematic presentation that is in this sugary sweet package. So to help with a different perspective, the last time I played with my friend John and his daughter, I asked her what she thought about the game, and so here is real-life 10-year-old human child, Logan. What were your favorite things about the game?
The design of the pawns, I think they're really pretty. I love the art. I like the context of the game. You're trying to win. I don't really like cooperative games. The only thing I had trouble with is understanding the pie. I think out of 1 through 10, I think this is a 9 game.
So overall, I think it's a great family game, one in which kids and adults can play together and all feel like they're getting something out of it. Now, groups entirely composed of adults are going to probably find this a little bit too shallow, whereas groups entirely composed of kids may find that it's a little bit too much without the helping, guiding hand of an adult there. But if you have a mix of anything in between, then I think that's just going to be a good time. So that's it. Thank you for watching the Cardboard Herald's review of My Little Scythe. If you enjoyed this video, we have all kinds of other reviews, interviews, and recommendations via writing, podcasts, and video here on our channel and website cardboardherald.com. Our content is audience supported, so if you want to show your support, please visit our Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Cardboard Herald.